Hey Bayek, it's me Ian, and in today's video I'm continuing my look at classic albums from my CD collection. Well, what I consider classic albums. And this is the Buzzcocks, Another Music in Another Kitchen, and this was released in 1978. This is their debut album, though they did an EP, Spiral Scratch, before this, which of course included our Devoto on that. But say this is the debut album. So some background about the Buzzcocks. They were formed in 1976 by Howard Trafford, who changed his name to Howard Devoto, Peter McNeish, who changed his name to Pete Shelley. And then we had Steve Diggle, who was the bass guitarist. And then we had John Mayer, who played drums. Now, their debut as a band was for the Sex Pistols in Manchester, July 1976. 20th of July, that gig was. As I say, they've been inspired by the Sex Pistols to do their own music. They released the Spiral Scratch EP in January 1977, so it's quite early on in terms of British punk releases. I can only think of before this The Damned with New Rose. So quite an important single. EP. Now, this EP is made up of Breakdown, Time's Up, Boredom, which is the one that a lot of people remember, and Friends of Mine. Now, in March 1977, Howard Devoto left. He left the band and formed Magazine. And Steve Diggle then switched to the main guitar. And Pete Shelley doing the vocals, because Devoto had done the vocals. And Garth Smith was bass. And in October 1977, United Artists signed them, and they released their first single for United Artists, which was Orgasm Addict, and what a classic that one is. So that was the first single for United Artists. But Garth, who was the bass player on tour, they found to be unreliable. So, as a band, they sacked him, and he was replaced by Steve Garvey. What Do I Get was the next single, and this was really the one that just started to push them in terms of more mainstream. They had a big following outside the mainstream, but this reached number 37 in the charts. And after the career of Buzzcocks really took off then in terms of new wave. But by their fourth album, which never happened, all we've got is the demos for that, they decided to disband in 1981. So in fact, up to that, we'd only got 3 albums, but this fourth album, well, obviously, they hadn't got on, or there was a lot of disagreements. So, really, throughout, after that, the band did become active at some times and reformed, did tours, that kind of thing. I suppose you could see them kind of. I think they did produce new albums in that period, but they never quite got back into the position they were at their height. Um, and certainly all this ended in well, in 2018 when Pete Shelley died. I don't know. They may have carried on. Actually, they often do these bands afterwards, but sadly, that is for me the end of them. And it's sad that a band is like this, but I don't know. But I suspect they did carry on. They often do, and they do these festivals, like the Rebellion Festival, reliving past glories. But it's not the same, is it? The Buzzcocks represented so much of what was really inventive and what was really dynamic about the early British punk. Definitely. So I'll go into more details about the album. It was recorded between December 1977 and January 1978. And it was released on the 10th of March 1978. The studio used was Olympic in London. And the label was now United Artists. Now, it was produced by a very good, well-respected producer and engineer, and that was Martin Rushent, who sadly died. He was only 62 in 2011. But the artist that he was engineered went back into the early 70s. He did Andrew Lloyd Webber. Yeah, Andrew Lloyd. He was an engineer for him. T-Rex. Gentle Giant. Prog Rock. Yeah. Wow. Yes, Prog Rock. Stoner Crows. Wow, what a group they were. Fleetwood Mac. Yep. And wow, what can I say? Just some great bands. He was an engineer and he was a producer of the Stranglers. Wow, can you get any better than that? Generation X, 999, and the Human League. And the Human League, he produced their big album, Dare. Altered Images, he produced them. Hazel O'Connor, Associates. Wow, what a list. What a great producer. And it's written all over this debut album. We get brilliant production, but we don't lose that raw punk energy at all. That we still get that, which is really good. This is why I love this album, and it's a good reminder of how good the Buzzcocks were at this point. Now the album was designed. The cover was by Malcolm Garrett. And the title of this album was inspired by a collage by Linda Sterling. There you are, if you wondered why. So, the tracks. Let's go through the tracks. And it opens in absolutely wonderful style with Fast Cars, which is written by DeVito, Diggle and Shelley. So you have got on this album some tracks that Howard Devoto was very much part of in writing. Then we've got No Reply, which is written by Shelley. Then You Tear Me Up, which is a Devoto Shelley composition again. Then Get On Our Way. Get On Our Own. Get On Our Own, which is Shelley. Then we've got Love Battery. Oh, yeah, Love Battery. That is a Devoto Shelley composition. Then 16, Shelley. I Don't Mind. Oh, yeah, I love I Don't Mind. That was the actual single released by United Artists. I Don't Mind, Shelley wrote that. Fiction Romance, Shelley. And Autonomy now is written by Diggle. So yeah, he did get started involved in the writing as well. And then I Need is written by Diggle and Shelley. And then Moving Away from the Pulse Beat is written by Shelley. And then on this one that I've got, there are some bonus tracks. And so they weren't on the original list, but I'll just mention the bonus tracks which just add to this. We've got Orgasm Addict, which is effectively the first single for United Artists. And then Whatever Happened To, which is a Shelley Dial composition. And then What Do I Get, which is a Shelley song. I absolutely loved What Do I Get. I remember just fantastic. That was released as a single. I think it may have just been a very minor hit, but it was there. And then other parts of these bonus tracks, we've got Oh Shit, which is written by Shelley. So that is the listings of the album, and the band is made up of the lead guitarist and vocals of Pete Shelley. We've got Steve Diggle on rhythm guitar and backing vocals. We've got Steve Garvey on bass guitar and John Mayer on drums and percussion. Now, this was released on CD in March 1994. And generally, it got very favourable reviews. And also, think of this, it's a time when there's that period when we're waiting for all these wonderful albums to come out, because not that many came out originally. You were waiting for the albums, and when it came, it was absolutely fantastic. So you can't really argue with that at all. I remember the excitement of being waiting for so long. We had, I think the thing about punk, when it came out, it was very much release of the singles and EPs that it was concentrated on, but you still was waiting for the albums. And this is a great album. It really represents what that period was about, I think, really. The excitement, the energy, the vocals on this, the lyrics of the songs, how they were just perfect. And the Buzzcocks were very much an important band. I think sometimes we might underestimate them. And they did start to break more into the mainstream. Love Bites, for instance, really started to take off. And I remember seeing them on Top of the Pops, and they had quite a bit of success, really, and I think that was good to see, especially as they were a band that I saw early on as well, and you could see the potential in them. I must have seen them maybe 4 or 5 times, something like that, as a support and also as headlines. As I always mention, I know I always mention it, I'm boring, but as I say, they came to university and they were the top of the bill, but they were supported by Joy Division. Yes, what a gig! But I think I've got a lot of time for Buzzcocks, and they were just such an important band. And this album, you can't help but love it. Really, it just captures that moment in time so well, of the excitement of punk and new wave. And that's good if you've got an album like that. Obviously, it didn't last, that long, really, a year, 2 years, really. And then we started getting into more, what they termed it, more new wave. And then we became post-punk, and you got all that. But just for that moment, 1977, it was brilliant. 1977, 78, you've got to say, and punk was really on the rise. And then we had Buzzcocks. Pistols, don't forget, their album didn't come out till much later in 1977. And of course, we had the Stranglers. The Stranglers, they represented the punk attitude, though really, the Stranglers were never really what you consider the punk band, but it certainly were in attitude and their music fantastic. So Buzzcocks are an important band for that. And I really love this, and I'm so pleased that I have this in my collection. I can't say more than that, really. I'll just show you my copy. There it is. There, you've seen it. And there's the back, and you see that there's listed the bonus tracks on there. Inside, it's just a pretty plain standard disc. But I love it. It's very precious, as all my CDs are. And what a great album, and absolutely love it. That's it. That's all I can say, really. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We'll let you know when I put out these videos. And I've done other music reviews. I do a lot more of films and TV series. And now, if you like this video, please give this video a like. Because if you give this video a like, it gets it out onto YouTube and algorithms. And then hopefully other people might enjoy my videos. Now, if you've got any comments, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments. I'll always answer your comments. And that's it. So, all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.